Hey y'all, and welcome back to another video of My Creative Life with Kel Sweetie, where we read books, we make art, and during a certain time of year, we start to Halloween decorate. Yes, if you watched episode 1 of this Decorate With Me series, I finished my kitchen weeks ago. Am I recording this intro during a heat wave? Absolutely, because we realized recording and decorating this house was going to be more than just one episode. It had to be more than just that. My favorite part of this house, and that is my book nook. This part last year was so amazing, and I had the top last year. So we did something completely different, and I did a 90s first grade Halloween party. That is what was the end result of the theme. And this was so much harder than I expected. If you are following me on Patreon, then you would have seen my Halloween decor audit where I audited my entire Halloween decoration collection. And I figured out that I might have messed up this Halloween hunting season and gone to vintage Halloween instead of 90s millennial Halloween. And during the final hours, in the last 2 weeks after doing that audit, I had to mad dash thrift stores, eBay, and everything to really look into finding things like Lisa Frank Halloween pencils and Monster Mash vinyl and Beetlejuice ads and Friday the 13th NES cartridges, and I mean, I had Goosebumps novels. But just tons of 90s memorabilia that I really didn't realize that I was really losing all nostalgic wise to make this up here happen. Now, last year, 90s was back in style. I noticed with the resurgence of boo buckets, and a lot of people have tried to do the 90s Halloween look, and I've realized now why it's been so hard for people to pull it off and why the 90s are such an amazing time of year for Halloween. It was something in the atmosphere about Halloween during the 90s that was so hard to nail down, but I think I actually did it. I'm not certain on how I did it, but I did. I cannot wait for y'all to see how we got here, because it was looking rough, y'all. In the beginning, it was definitely looking rough, but I am so excited for y'all to see what was the absolute end result and see a close-up of everything up there, because as we know, Maximalist Halloween, you gotta see it up close. You gotta see everything because you're missing something. As well as I have black lights and a whole lighting situation for this, because what is the 90s without a black light? So keep watching after the intro to see how we got here, because it was a journey. Let's go back about 3 weeks ago when we weren't in this heat wave to go see how we did it. This theme is going to be a 90s Halloween party theme. Mainly, I'm trying to drum up anything that us as millennials experienced during the 90s in our childhood with Halloween. That's what this corner should be. In theory, we are hoping that it actually communicates that way. Now, there will be some things that are obviously not specific to the 90s in this area. I have some vintage candy boxes and vintage costumes. I'm hoping, though, with the color and the fun, it still comes off that it's supposed to be 90s Halloween, because I do have some very 90s specific memorabilia to put in this area. Again, my biggest concern also is whether or not, one, it's cohesive, and two, if I have enough things. If you've seen my first video and you've seen any of my Decorate With Me videos, you know I'm a maximalist. So what is going to make me happy is if this area back here makes you feel like an I Spy book. You're just, oh my god, I found a new thing. Every time I look up there, there's a new thing. That is my ultimate goal. And for you to really feel like I'm just getting a whole bunch of nostalgia from the 90s here. That is what we're hoping to do today. Let's start with the foliage. This is always the hardest part for me every year with this space. One, because of how long it takes, and two, because I have to maneuver around the fact that I cannot really use command hooks. In the past, I've used command hooks, and in theory, that should be easy. With the heat in this house, and I'm currently doing this during a heat wave, they do not stay up there because of the weight, and so I'm going to have to do what I started doing last year, which is putting screws in those holes that are supposed to be for you to decide where you put your shelving. So let's put a couple of screws in those areas. Let's try and put these up and then move on to the leaves, and then we can get on to the fun stuff because we've got to set a base. We always have to set a base. I will check back in with y'all because there is no need for you guys to watch me struggle with this for who knows how long. Okay, we got it up. It definitely was not as hard as I was expecting it to be, mainly because I put in the screws this year. There's some command hooks that are still hanging on for life and actually doing their jobs. So especially on this side, there's one over there. Verdict's still out on that one though, because give it some time and I may come out here one morning and this side is completely down. So we will see. But definitely did not take as long as I thought it was going to at all. If you have bookshelves, especially that have those holes in them, and especially if they're just like the IKEA MDF shelves, just screw some small screws. The command strips, honestly, especially if you live in LA area or hot climates, are just not worth it if you don't have AC. They just don't really work, to be honest. So now, after putting up all of that, I'm kind of wondering about the spiderweb stuff. So the reason why this is a concern is because, one, I'm not extremely tall, so hitting that back wall, nearly impossible for me. And I'm wondering how to put this up. I wanted to string it up like spider webs, but it doesn't really have anywhere to web onto. The other thing is, I don't think that this is supposed to be spider webs. This is like actual hay foin. So what I'm going to do actually is put a layer of this across the top, like how I do like the snow during Christmas. And that way, this is going to have a perfect place, like across the board, that black light that I'm going to put up there is going to illuminate the entire thing. Now seeing this, I thought that this was like the spiderweb stuff that you like stretch and then have, but it really is like buffalo snow. Let me do that real quick and then we'll have our foundation and I'll raise you guys up so that you can better see what's going on above me. Okay, hay foin has been put up there. It's actually softer than the buffalo snow variety is for some reason. I think maybe it's the way that they dye it. That is a fluorescent orange. So I'm going to put this in the corner, this little blow mold that I have. It's the tallest thing that I have out of everything over here, and I think it's a good focal point to start from. I do have some concerns about the party favors that I have for this area and how I'm going to display them where they're like, you can see them. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it though. Let's put this up. Okay, it's too tall. This is too tall to go up there. So this is probably going to go possibly in front of, it is so hot, y'all. This is possibly going to go in front of my Halloween Town area. Now, because this is far too big, I'm going to take another jack-o'-lantern that I have and 2 trick-or-treaters. So let me show you those. So this is what I have instead. It's definitely specific. I think it's from the 90s. Yeah, 93. And I thrifted this last year. It looks really great. Like, it actually kind of looks like an actual pumpkin, not just, it's like made out of a styrofoam. So I'm going to put this in the middle and put some trick-or-treaters on either side, which I'll show you in a second. I think it needs to be risen up, and I'm going to use my vintage candy boxes. Hold on. Okay, I have these. I know why I use these. These are going to be platforms, so let me rearrange these. I like that. Do I want to put this on there? Like lean it against it? I'll come back to that idea, but I like that. Let me get the trick-or-treaters. These guys I got from 99-cent last year for $14.99 before they went on sale. I really like my other ones that are like more vintage looking, but these look a tad bit more new and like 90s. Let me take a look at how they both look up there. I didn't even need to see the other ones. Once I put those up there, it was a better look. Let's see about these in between the gaps between these trick-or-treaters. Okay, that's something. I also have this blow mold situation. Maybe let me put that over there. Oh, that already has a pumpkin. Well, they both have pumpkins. No, let me maybe do a bucket. So I have this bucket and my McDonald's bucket as well. I'm thinking, and I also want some fluorescents. I also have an orange. Hold on a minute. I think the main thing I need to do first is work my way across with some of my larger items and then fill in the gaps, as opposed to just putting up my favorite items first like I did kind of last year. Mainly because I feel like I'm still kind of filling out how this all should look. I'm going to take my vintage costumes, a vintage printing of Beetlejuice on Nintendo, and this Monster Mash vinyl, and I'm going to use all of that to fill up the back. I also have some buckets as well, and I think I want to put those on pedestals and not VHSs or anything like I usually use as pedestals, because I don't want them to get lost in the foil. Last year I didn't have, all I had was leaves, so putting only candy boxes or VHS cassette tapes as my platforms was fine, but I really don't want any of those things to get hidden because they really sell that it's kind of a 90s Halloween. So let me put those things up and then let's see where we sit then. Because we're moving through it. It feels a little too matchy-matchy right now, personally. And I'm not a big person for, like, matchy-matchy balance.
Hi, kids. Casper the friendly ghost here for Target. This is the place for Halloween. We've got everything. Maybe it's me who's scaring them. It sure can't be the prices.
$1.96 each Snickers and M&M's fun size. 2 for $3, Tootsie Rolls and Tootsie Pops.
I guess nothing's scarier than ghosts. Except for monsters. Remember, shop Target before Halloween vanishes.
I also have these masks from Goolsville. And I think they'll look really great with the reactor. This is just a vintage looking werewolf mask that I got from Spirit last year. I also have a Dracula one that I got from the 99-cent. And I'm going to throw those up there to take up the rest of the backspace so that we can basically move forward from there. And put some buckets on, like maybe in the middle where there's some space to put things into.
This Halloween, Blockbuster Video has a special treat for your whole family. You can take home any of these great Halloween classics for just $7.99.
Okay, over on this side, there's this in-between space for the Beetlejuice print and the costume that doesn't feel as balanced as this side is kind of, with the mask. I'm going to try putting these blow molds in that space and see if that kind of fills it out better.
Trick or treat. Trick or treat forever. Smell my meat.
They won't let us go!
Give us something good to eat.
You kidnapped the poor missing people.
Watch Night of the Jack-o'-lantern on an all-new Goosebumps coming up next on Fox Kids Monster on a Saturday. But beware, you're in for the one and only scare.
Make them one of us!
I think I want to move this situation happening over here with the Hershey's box and the Reese's I'm not feeling that stacking. So I think I'm going to try doing something like this and then putting maybe the Hershey's box inside of it. I realized I'm not doing enough stacking. So I took a good amount of these Goosebumps and Betty Renwright books that I've collected over time, and I'm going to place these specifically underneath the hero costume because or do I want to do it over the monster mesh? I think I'm going to do it over the monster mesh because I need more leverage. Like, I'm not taking up enough height space. And then I left some out to actually display front facing. So let me put that up real quick, and then let's then look at what we have then.
Halloween's just around the corner, so we've got these spooky fright frames. Just walk past them and creepy, and just $15.99 each. And you can decorate the house with these assorted 20-inch sculpture lights. Your choice, just $4.99 at Big Lots.
I need more behind.
But every day, it's the bright.
As Halloween approaches, you prepare yourself for what might happen. Roar and sprinkle. It's a special time of year, and Dunkin' Donuts is packing up their donuts for the occasion.
Okay, I like where this is going. We're layering. So I just placed some Goosebumps novels and a Betty Renwright novel over there. I think I'm going to actually take a VHS cassette tape and put it over there instead. I was starting to forget one of my rules of maximalism, which is do not be precious with your items. Even if you have some poking through, you cannot be precious, or else it ends up looking not spaced out enough. So like if you see over here, I have a bit of space, like dead space right here in between Casper, the Casper costume, and the vinyl. I need to get a figure or something to cover that. And I think I'm going to use one of my styrofoam heads. I'm just like putting my hand out. I think I'm going to use one of my styrofoam heads. Let's put that up real quick. Okay. We did something different. Here, let's zoom in. So instead, I placed one of my Ben Cooper figures in front of the Monster Mash vinyl to kind of steady it and to close up that gap between the Collegeville costume and the vinyl. And then I placed another figure over here in front of the Frankenstein, the large Frankenstein mask, right over there. Again, keeping in mind my own rule about not being delicate with your items. You have to hide some of your items in order to be maximalist. I also brought in some of my vintage makeup that I've gotten off of eBay and placed it around. Right here is the neck bolt. Over here is the glitter makeup that I had. I placed one inside of the pail up there, and I'm actually going to place some shredded paper in there soon enough to make sure it sticks. I need to put in my VHS cassette tapes and Beanie Babies. And then I think we can put in our bus that we worked on. My hand keeps on coming in here. How about we zoom out? Hello. And then I can bring in both of my busts, which I think I'm going to put on either side of this. The rest of my Ben Cooper figures are gonna be spread out over on this side, and then it's just kind of sprinkling vampire teeth and eyeballs and spider rings, witch fingers throughout. I feel like I think we're getting closer. I think we're getting much closer than we originally were. So I'm kind of figuring out where these go just to balance out the color. I think purple may work more so on this side. No, because I already have a bunch of purple here. Maybe I'll pull some purple in there and then bring in blue over on the other side.
Mummies everywhere are rushing to Cardo for the new Halloween ice cream cake, just $9.99.
I like this. I think we need to add one more thing. Like, I have some books and VHSs. So I have this Sabrina, Teenage Witch, book. I think that should lean up maybe in this area. And then I have this area down here. I think this Friday the 13th Nintendo cassette will work. Will work over here in front of that area that's lifting up the vampires so that they're not covered. I then have this VHS cassette of Goosebumps and this Etsy made cassette tape of Halloween Town to fit. Where will I put you? I feel like there's something that needs to go here where the Spider-Man Ben Cooper mask is. There's like far too much is exposed for that mask. So I think I might, too much Goosebumps may be right next to each other. So I might put the Halloween Town there. And then the Goosebumps may end up going over here. Let's see.
This Halloween is coming with something they never expected. Cookies! Simply roll out Pillsbury sugar cookies, cut, bake, then create your own deliciously spooky cookies.
Nasty weather got your little monsters uptight. Make it a blockbuster night. Blockbuster has something for everyone. Even the fussiest little beasts settle down to enjoy Blockbuster. I just love a family night. If the weather's a fright, make it a Blockbuster night.
I have these Beetlejuice figures, and I think I'm going to put them over here in this area in front of like that devil's mask. Or actually, I think I might put them in front of the Casper costume box. Maybe I'll put it in front of both. There's two of them. And then I have these Beanie Babies that I've gotten from Savers, as well as these little kind of vintage looking baggies of bugs. So I'm going to also put those around. And then I think I'm ready for some of the much smaller stuff that's around this size to sprinkle throughout, and I think that may be it after adding the black light.
Pretty funny movie, huh?
What are you, a nut? This is scary.
Scary? This isn't scary. If you want horror, you gotta go with the classics. Dracula, Frankenstein, The Wolf Man. Ooh, spooky, huh?
Oh, they're cool. I could send one to my mother.
You mailed these? These are special editions. You're really starting to freak me out.
Okay, we're going to now place all of the tiny figures, all of the party favors, cookies. I've got some Pez, some Scooby-Doo Hot Wheels, some Lisa Frank pencils, like all the things that you would get at like a 90s Halloween party when you were a kid. That is now going to go in between all of this that we've created up here. I'm feeling good about it. I do think that foin stuff, I don't know if I'm sold on it. Like as a texture, it gets everywhere. Like this is kind of just to tell you. I think it looks great for really selling like the 90s millennia Halloween, because the 90s Halloween look was fluorescent orange, black light, purple, slime green. Like those were the colors, and we are getting that. I'm happy about that. However, that foin, it's not like, I don't feel like it's like the buffalo snow that you get at Christmas. When they dye it, I think that it really breaks down the material because it literally sticks to everything. I think that when I take that Casper mask down, I'm going to be picking foin out of the box fiber. It just seems to stick to everything. It gets caught on the like tree leaves and stuff that I have up there. So keep that in mind. It also isn't great to balance things on, which for my maximalism and having things shoved into places, it's just not the best to balance things. So that's been kind of a pain. But other than that, I think from where we started, this is a humongous improvement. And so I'm going to zoom up and maybe do a voiceover, but we're going to speed lapse the rest of this since it's mainly just putting in some little things here and there and then seeing what it looks like with the black light. And also, where am I going to put the black light? Because right now it's got nowhere to be. I just wanted to hop on voiceover here because you're not really going to see very closely what I'm placing everywhere. These are just the party favors and trinkets that I got either thrifting or on eBay. Here's an example of them. These are 90s Pez that I got on eBay in a lot. Again, I just want to say that if you're looking for, you know, a good portion of things, always look for a lot of, and then the thing that you're looking for, you're going to find better prices for those things. The Lisa Frank pencils that I have, the witch fingers that I end up using, all these things were found in a lot. Even those makeup, vintage makeup cases, those were also from a lot. And I just found way better prices. That witch hand that I just showed was from Michael's this year in their floral section. I thought they looked really great, and I love how they look amongst everything else, and it was the perfect coloring for everything. I'm also placing some Scooby-Doo Hot Wheels. I also had some McNugget buddies that didn't come in time for the video, but those ended up being put up there as well. And these cookies, if you see in my hand, I have some Pillsbury slice and bake ones. These are fake that I made in a crafting video here on the channel. I had a whole crafting series, so I recommend you to go check that out if you would like to do something similar in your Halloween space. Right here, I'm also going to be putting some vampire teeth and ping pong eyeballs. I just got those from Spirit Halloween in their checkout section. The final result. Yes, there has been an outfit change because we don't strive for continuity in these videos. We just don't have the time for that. It is later on when I shot all of the final result just because of how long it took to kind of move through adding all of the smallest details. I'm so excited for how this all turned out. I'm gonna be honest, it was rough in the beginning. Don't really know where I was going with it. I was concerned and scared that I had chose a theme that I really couldn't do, that I didn't have enough 90s memorabilia to really pull off what I really wanted from this. And it somehow came together. I'm still surprised at it coming together, to be honest with you. There are still bits and pieces that I was expecting to possibly use for this space, but they'll probably be used in other spaces in my house. I feel I'm just kind of blown away by the fact that it actually worked. I think that the 90s are really, really hard to kind of nail down as far as Halloween is concerned because it's such a specific aesthetic. It's so neon without it being neon. It's more black light than neon. It feels vintage without being dated. I think that was something that was a really rough thing for me, was how do I take a lot of what I already have that's more vintage Halloween in the sense of 50s, 60s, 70s memorabilia and take that and recreate my childhood. The heads that I did this year, these just turned, you can tell that I was in the 90s kind of mindset when I colored these. My Frankenstein and Bride are gonna probably end up in my Monster Mash area now this year. There's just so much to take in, but the color palette is really, and I'm sorry guys, it's hot. It's night and it's still steaming in this house. I'm so happy with it. I'm so happy with it. This turned on with the black light is amazing. I'm so excited when I see it. Keep in mind, like, a lot of this stuff was thrifted, whether in an actual thrift store or on eBay. Last year or 2 years or so, the McDonald's buckets came back in style, and I felt like I kept seeing a lot of people try to do this theme and we're hitting a wall. And I understand now why you guys were hitting that wall, because there's something about the aesthetic of a 90s millennial Halloween that is hard to nail down. And I think really thinking about, okay, the small stuff that I grew up with is what really made this. I don't know which one I love more. My kitchen right now or this space. They're completely different sides of the spectrum. I can't wait to do the movie Monster Mash tomorrow, and even seeing where kind of the Halloween town goes, because a lot of the vintage stuff that I usually put out is going to end up in these other spaces and around that space. But we will see. Thank y'all so much for watching. I didn't do it in my last episode, but I want to make sure that I do it in this one. Our little question emoji game at the end of every video, because y'all know I'm a yapper. The question at the end of this video, if you made it this far, is what was your favorite thing from the 90s when Halloween came around? What was your favorite thing? I feel like there's so much that was happening during that time and everything. I grew up in the Midwest, so my experience during Halloween during that time was very different than my partner who grew up in LA and all of that. So I think I'm really interested to know if some of the memorabilia that's up here speaks to you, or if I missed something, or if you had an experience during like your 90s Halloween that you would have included if you tried this theme out. So let me know down below. I would love to hear about it. We're doing the Monster Movie Mash area next, and that's going to be a bunch of movie memorabilia and monster flicks and popcorn and marquee signs and slasher stuff. So it should be a lot of fun and very different from this. Make sure that you watch from the first episode in this Decorate With Me series, because the way the kitchen turned out was amazing. And get ready for episode 3 coming very, very soon. I have no idea where these other 2 themes are gonna go, but they're completely out of my comfort zone. I love it. I've loved doing it so far, even in this heat. So let me quit yapping. I'll see y'all on the next one. Thank y'all for watching. Subscribe down below if you liked this video today and if you don't want to miss the next one. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.